Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? I just felt like Beyonce's partition was warranted for Josephine. Because Josephine was outside rolling up them partitions. Get on in here. We are here to talk about Josephine Baker. And when I say here and we, it ain't just me. My girl is in the back. Before I bring her out, make sure you show us some love. Make sure you tell us what you think about this film if you've ever seen it, or if you just want to talk about Josephine overall. And make sure you are hitting that like button for us. We would most definitely appreciate that. Not wasting no time. I'm gonna bring Josephine number two out. Ashley, hey girl. She looks
Hey,
cute, y'all. She
hey.
looks cute. She looks so
Hey, y'all. Hey, hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
right. Say what's up in the chat. Let's see who's in here. Our regular deck was in here. Love to see y'all. You look gorgeous. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. We have to show up. Josephine is opulent if she's nothing else. We can never be that opulent, but we do what we can. We're gonna come pretty close. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashley, I am just really excited because I can't remember any time that I was in a space to talk about Miss Josephine Baker, or even if anyone cared to. I'm gonna come to you. Do you feel like Josephine gets her flowers? Because I mean, it's like she does, but does she? I love Josephine Baker, and I know that there are traces of her just everywhere. But for me, it just seems like it's more so, of course, the infamous banana dress and the dance and the whole nine. And it's always, the finger waves, the looks, and the look of it. But as far as just like who she was, do you feel like she's gotten her flowers? And who is Josephine to you?
Wow. So no, I don't. I think in the whole like great American history, especially of African Americans who have journeyed abroad and kind of staked their claim and pioneered, I don't think she's gotten the credit that she deserves. What we've got a couple of docs like this movie, that the dramatized version of it all, and of course her memoir, and I think a few other books that like her children have written. I
Yeah.
don't think it's enough. I think that she's left an indelible mark not only on the culture, but just on the whole world of like dance. Period. Because if you watch her dances, like if you go back and watch all of the black and whites, you'll see people doing those dances like today. But not only that, like she said, no, America's not doing it for me. I'm going to go to this strange land, right? I'm going to try some new things. I'm going to venture out. I'm going to build the life that I want. Everything else be damned. I mean, for better or worse, whether you enjoy her or not, as far as her
Mhm.
portrayal, you got to give it up to her because she had the courage of her convictions and she stood on big business. Big
She's
business.
just it's just rich. Like, I am very rich. She just gives rich. She gives rich. I was just always fascinated at how much of an indulgent lifestyle she lived for the time. And it was just like, well, how? How? It's really incredible how adventurous her life was. And there was never a moment, it seems like, from birth that she wasn't having her way. She was always going to have her way. You mean to tell me, like, we black in the 1920s and 30s having our way and being very rich and opulent and decked out? I think that's incredible. I think that's
Absolutely.
absolutely incredible. Like, I just got a few things here for us to get into about Miss Josephine for anybody who didn't know before we jump into the film of it all. I love these dances. You could swear she didn't have any bones in her body the way she was moving around, because Josephine was out here twerking first. She was
Period.
twerking first. She was backing it up first. But this is show enough, our first real black international superstar. And I mean like superstar. Like triple threat. She could sing, and you heard the little references in the film about her, and not even just in the film in general, especially when she got back here about her voice not reaching the back. It was a weaker voice. Like, I've been like having my Josephine fix for this entire week. I was like, girl, sing. Or even some references to some songs that you may know, but you don't even know they're by her. You just hear them all the time. I was like, I didn't even know Josephine Baker sung this song. But not only is she a triple threat, that's another thing. I don't feel like we got a whole lot in this film because we're so focused on, core relationships. She was an actress. She did a whole lot of film work and set a precedent for that as well. We didn't get a lot of her activism here. Baby, she was a World War II spy. When I say spy, I mean real spy, not the pretend kind. It was real espionage. She's a pioneer. She's a sex symbol. And, what we definitely didn't touch on here, baby, she was bisexual. Josephine was extremely liberated and sexually fluid with whoever she chose to be, and to be that back then was such a major thing. But actually, you want to touch on any of these things here because I don't think they touched on them thoroughly enough as I would want them to in this film.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, we absolutely need this a redo. We need a redo. And not that Lynn didn't do her big one. I think Lynn did a great job. I mean, she bared all of her breastises. Listen, she did the dances. She was doing Josephine, okay?
She
But
was.
no, we need to dive into the other parts of her life. I feel like this movie, and we talked about it a little bit, it's very driven and centered around the relationships that she had and these
Yeah.
men that she had in her life. And that's kind of how we marked her transition from one season of her life to the other. I would
Mhm.
love to dive into her sexuality, all of these affairs, honey, that she had, because we only saw a couple. We only saw a couple. We didn't see the women. We didn't really see who Josephine was, like, just as a person, right? We saw a few things, right? She's strong minded, right? Like, nobody can tell her anything. She's going to chart her own way. But I know that there was more to her than that, and I would have liked to dive into that more. I really would have enjoyed if we would have gotten more of the spy
Yeah.
situation. I would have loved that. And you're right. I went down the rabbit hole and saw a ton of black and white pieces, movies, films that were done
Mhm.
internationally that were never on my radar before. So I think
Yeah.
there was a way to do that. But no, she's iconic. Like, no one, you can't go down through the annals of like time, history, black women performers and not take a moment to acknowledge her and the path that she's paved for so many people.
Yeah, she's literally threaded through a little bit of everything. But just I guess kind of doing some homework here for this, there were a few things that I didn't know. If anybody had a question about who she was or how big she was massive. Josephine was locally the first black influencer. Josephine was so popular. We can go back to 1920s and 30s and Miss Mamas, pomade for the hair and something to slick it down and get that shine. That's a given because everybody wanted them some Josephine finger waves. But there is pretty much a bronzer. Everybody wanted the Josephine look. The whites was gonna go outside and tan themselves to get as close to Josephine as possible. And she also had her own doll line. I did not know that.
I saw the Baker fix. Like, so when you see her in her relationship, I think with
Yeah,
the first husband, the Count, he was all about making her this international brand. And so they were throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. And I saw that and I was like, Baker fix. I said, what is this for? I thought it was for a show. I had no idea that honey, she had brand deals back in
yeah,
those days. Get it,
yeah.
sis. But she was like, she was the moment. She was a legend. She was iconic. Like, the people were gasped. Like, she gagged everyone.
He did. I just thought that was incredible. I was like, what? Girl, back then? Like back then, you telling me the white woman was rolling up trying to turn themselves brown. I just that sent me for a loop. That sent me for a loop for her to be that popular, but I did not know that. But and just as far as her net that goes through time, she's always here. There's not anything that Josephine hasn't touched. We got everything here from a young Diana Ross to Beyonce to
One.
Zendaya to Rihanna, and I can't never remember this baby's
Yara
name.
Shahidi. Yeah,
Yes,
Yara.
Yara Shahidi. But all of
Mhm.
these looks are very, Josephine inspired, and a lot of these looks were taken directly from her. Even though you may automatically recognize the banana dress, everything like she's touched everything, and I just think that's so incredible. I really, really do. But
Period.
yeah, I was just here for these looks, y'all.
And I saw Diana spread when, of course, when I was down the
Mhm.
rabbit hole. I was like, Diana, they did a whole Josephine Baker
Girl, whole
inspired spread.
thing. Whole thing. I couldn't fit her on here with that little banana dress on. I say, ain't nothing in that dress, Diana. But not in that dress. But she's always the muse. Every single generation. I just love how it was so many through time, all the way from Diana. But I want to take a moment for Lynn. I want to take a moment for Miss Lynn Whitfield because what y'all not gonna do is play in her face. Watching Lynn here, I was like, girl, you better. Great. Great. It's one thing for her to act. We know that she could act and we know her for that. But Miss Mamas was giving performance, the lip singing of it all, the dance routines of it all. Like just the cadence of Josephine, because you could tell like she wasn't foiling, she wasn't backing it, she wasn't doing all that, but she gave you the essence and what you needed, and it doesn't hurt that phenotypically she looks rather close to Josephine Baker. But with all of that, I was like, y'all really set and typecast Miss Mamas as the mean, grouchy mother, mean
After all,
woman, scorned woman, and I went to her filmography. I was like, there has to be something. So I was like, this is wonderful. She's so good here. She's so happy here. She's giving, so many different emotions outside of my mother was a whore. We ain't get there. we ain't get there. Or, her trying to bust the windows out of Darnell's car. And she was just typecast. But I was like, this is literally it. And this is something that she had to buy for. And this is a TV film. Stumping at the Savoy is a television film. And of course, everybody knows about Eve's Bayou. But I was like, why we shortchange Lynn? Lynn was gorgeous here. The acting was incredible. The performance was incredible. I think she embodied this and really took this seriously in only the one way that she could. But out of all of her film work, these were the three main ones I could find to wear. And maybe I'm missing maybe Women of Brewster's Place. But her like in the main forefront of a film, this was it. Actually, why they play on Lynn Time? And what did you think about her performance in this film?
yeah, and then maybe what, like a Thin Line Between Love and Hate, which
But
came
she's
out
still
some
mad
years
as hell
ago.
over there.
Yes, angry. I when I was watching it earlier, I was like, she is really committed. Like, and again, this was HBO, but no, she was so committed to this role. You could tell that at this time she was like this young, hungry actress, and she like put it all out there, laid everything bare from the young Josephine to when we see her at the very end of the film. And I was like, this is a moment. Like Lynn really, really like immersed herself in this role, and I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, it's unfortunate that there's this gap of time where I don't remember Lynn doing projects. And I was like, was she
Yeah,
raising her children or her child? Was this by choice? Or was she just kind of, like you said, typecast and put into this type of role that she was going to be in perpetuity? But she definitely deserves her flowers. She absolutely did her big one in this. And of course, in Eve's Bayou. Lynn Whitfield is a talent, a great talent. And I think she did an exceptional job. And I feel like it was a love letter to Josephine. Like, I think if Josephine had been able to see this film, she would have been proud of Lynn's portrayal. Because, like you said, she wasn't going all the way down there in them dancing streets, but
yes,
all of the performances that we got to see, the interactions were very on point.
and were. And I see y'all in the chat. I think as far as what we've gotten in biopics where we may have something like a Tina Turner situation, even though we love it, or I'm trying to think. There are several films where you don't even get close to the person phenotypically. I thought Lynn was pretty close. No, she doesn't look identical to Miss Josephine, but as far as who was popping at the time in '91 and who they could have gotten, I don't think they could have gotten anybody better. And
I
HBO
think
needs to come back outside.
I mean, let's be honest. This was an up. This was good. Like I mean, Lynn's face card never declined.
Never.
Period. And so I think it was a blessed role. Like I was here for it. I was here for Lynn in this portrayal, and I'm thinking of the contemporaries, and I'm happy with this choice. In
Yeah,
terms of who else it could have been at the time that probably would have pissed people off, I think Lynn was the best option for this role then.
piss people off. Absolutely were. But I just really wish that there was more here. I was going through, I was like, oh, y'all played on Lynn's time. Oh, okay, but it's fine. If you haven't seen Stumping at the Savoy or the Josephine Baker Story or Eve's Bayou by any chance, please go and watch it. Would love to. But moving on, I just had to acknowledge Lynn first because I thought she did so good here. Them biddies was out. Lynn said, "Y'all gonna get these girls."
Ooh, sitting up at
Girl,
attention.
it
Girl,
was up. They was standing at attention. I say, Lynn, girl, I don't even know you like that. Like, Lynn, I don't even know you like that for you to have them biddies in my face so often in this film.
girl, every
But
chance I got.
Yeah, she said she was very like that was a big thing for her because she's never sex scenes, nudity, that's just never been her bag. She was like, I'm finna get y'all this Josephine, and my mama or my grandma just gonna have to cry about it later. But we start here with these humble beginnings, chitlin circuits, trash mamas, and uh baby Josephine being a little girl of her time. Of course, racism and fires and riots and all that stuff is running rapid, but Josephine is trying to get from underneath that, all while having this choice of a mother. Ashley, what did you think about Josephine's beginning, how it kind of impacted her moving forward, and what did you think about this relationship with his mom?
I enjoyed that they opened the film the way that they did, just based on after actually kind of researching her background and finding out that that's one of her earliest memories, that day in East St. Louis when the people came in and there was basically a massacre of black people in her town. And that really framed her activism later down the road, right? It kind of let us know, okay, this was her motivation to get out of the States. And then, understand why she didn't come back for her sister's funeral. And then later, why she decided to go on this campaign for equality there. So I enjoyed that that's how they framed it. And I think it didn't take a long time. That's what I get today, y'all. Well, I have my gripes with modern day storytelling because it doesn't take long to set a motivation or to give a history or a background. We might have stayed there 5 minutes. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't a long time, but we understood where
the
she came
credits were still
from.
rolling.
That's what I'm saying. Like we got all of that, right? In that little bit of time. They can do that today. But yes, I mean, a trash mama gonna trash mama. And unfortunately, that was the theme of the era back then, apparently. Because mama said, you ain't gonna be because I ain't. Mama was a dancer. I ain't make it. Don't be out on the corner singing your shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Is that how you want to end up? Josephine said,
Girl.
here. What you won't do is tell me what I can't do. Listen, I'm already getting a check. I'm 14. I'm Cupid. I'm making the people laugh. I'm doing blackface. I'm going to Paris. Bye, mama.
Oh,
And I was
loved
here
it.
for that.
Love to see it. And that's what I was looking. I said that too. I was like, the child, they still letting we still getting who the cast is on the screen. The credits are still rolling in. And we got all the way from the rooter to the suit already. I
Mhm.
loved it. I loved it. And that's once again someone making the film, or writers trying to take advantage of the little time that we have. We know that this is a bio, this is HBO. You're gonna get 2 hours and that's all you're gonna get. So let's fit in little nuances while we can. Like, child, I was just here for it. But outside of working this chitlin circuit and having this choice of a mom who was clearly jealous, girl, if you ain't make it as a dancer, girl, you just ain't make it. Don't step on my dreams. I don't want to live in this shack. I got to get out of this shack. What the film did do was really sugarcoat this situation because we really didn't have any time to stay here. Josephine's mother was awful, awful, abusive, awful, awful, awful. I mean, whatever is, I put dirt poor because she was poor and poor. We weren't even private. We were poor.
Mhm.
She was very, very poor. Like, like I come from humble beginnings. Like, no, dirt poor, no
Mhm.
shoes, like nothing. And of course, she grew older to be a street dancer and earn a little coin, which she was always going back home and trying to pay for this, regardless of how trash the mother was. She was still trying to hold it down for the family. Maybe she was a maid at 7.
Mhm.
She's a maid. Mother sent her off to be a maid. And of course, she was abused there. She was abused by the mother. And we had already been married twice by the time we were 14, 15 years old. That is not in the film. Girl, that's awful.
Crazy as hell. When I said her first marriage was when she was 13 with the street gang she was running with because she couldn't stay with her mama. She had to get it out the mud. I
Yeah.
said, Josephine, like,
Yeah.
what the hell was going on? Like, she had to get it where she lived. And a hustler gonna hustle at the end of the day. And it just speaks volumes to me about what she ended up making in her life. Like, she had a whole damn menagerie, a castle she said she read about in the books when she was a little
Mhm.
girl. So inspiring, but you're right. The film did not do
Oh,
justice to
no.
what her true life was.
It
But
was
today,
awful.
if we get a remake,
We could.
listen, we could go there.
We could. We absolutely could. Thank you so much, Demarcus. Vaughn, for the $3. I'm gonna say sheep. That is not what it is. How's it going? It's going great, Demarcus. How are you? We are talking about Josephine Baker. That's how's it going. But thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, I really wish that that was there, even though they did what they could, just to really great lay the groundwork of how hard she worked and how desperate she was to separate herself from that situation, and just the I think this is like even beyond because I think the word rags to riches is thrown around so much. Like, babe, we didn't even have no rags. We didn't even have any rags. And we're, we don't have a formal education. We're out here working the chitlin circuit and being a maid and making our way downtown all by our lonesome because the mama was trash, child. But yeah,
Trash.
leaving, pretty much being abused in every single way possible and able to really craft and make her way all the way beyond the chitlin circuit into Paris. Paris is gorgeous. We don't really see color there. We see performance and we just see people. Though it's freedom and all this infatuation, I also saw a whole lot of fetish. Ashley, how did you feel when Miss Mamas got all the way to Paris? And why did you think they were all so progressive?
Well, we know that Europe had always had a tendency to be better than the Americas, and I mean, there's ideas about why that is, but at the end of the day, she was still black, even in Paris, and they didn't let her forget that. And even when she meets the first husband, because she got played right by old boy who originally wanted all that, as they call it, dark meat back then. They're never going to marry you. You're fine as a mistress. You're fine as a lover. So I think the idea that, okay, yes, they could eat in the restaurants, she could stay at the hotels, but let's not be deceived. There was still a very strong undercurrent of racism. It just wasn't as blatant as it was in the Americas. I think what was super interesting to me and what I'd want to dive deeper in, and I might actually read her memoir because I'm curious. It's almost like in the very beginning, she didn't want to be this exhibitionist.
No.
She didn't want to be new. She said, "My mama will hang me up. Listen, I'm not about to do this." And so I wonder how much of that was true, because I mean, after she got her first round of applause, it was like, "Oh, I'm absolutely here for that." But I think we do have to keep in mind that in colonialism in Europe and in the Americas, period, oftentimes people within the diaspora are fetishized. And not only that, they are for spectacle and for
Mhm.
show. And I think that's what the husband was trying to ultimately tell her. Like, you don't want to ever become, I guess, old hat for them, because that when that happens, they'll throw you away because they don't look at you as a person. You're really much
Mhm.
more of a commodity and more of a show. But yeah, the fetishism is absolutely there. But I can't lie. America back then, Paris back then,
Man,
you can go to Paris. Like,
fetish me. Ain't nothing back there for me. There's nothing back there for me. I just thought it was gorgeous. Um, just the sense of opportunity and freedom there, as biased as it may have been, or the little minor biases that you would get versus. I was like, who would ever want to leave here? Who would ever want to leave here? And why are we constantly pushing up on, like, for Josie, I got to get back and, I got to go home. I don't have to go do nothing but stay black and die. I don't got to do nothing. No, I don't. Thank you so much, Demarcus, for the $2. Ashley, you resemble the original Josephine Baker, and she does, and she look
thank you,
cute.
girl. Thank you,
Yes, thank
Demarcus.
you. Yeah, I just had to get into that fetish part because, like she said, I came here, trying to grow what I found worked for me there in America. People wouldn't try to kill me if I was constantly trying to make them laugh. And, that ties into why she was always making faces and being silly. If you're laughing at me, you won't try to hurt me, which says a whole lot about the time.
Mm.
But as soon as we touch down, we want you naked. Put on this
Yeah.
little nothing. We going straight to African drums and everybody's nude. Everybody's nude and we're fetishized. It's just like, well, I didn't really come here for that. But actually, I've never had anybody look at me like a person, like a woman, like I was desired. What you say
Mhm.
about this little dress? You want me to put it on? Sure. I was like,
Sure.
oh gosh. Yeah, I think she was trying to get away from this, and I'm not sure what's in the memoir, but I thought, if I'm not mistaken, like prior to everything really popping off for her, she was, a little bit of a shape dancer back in the day,
Mhm.
which would, make it easier for her to, yeah, go and get these titties. You can get these titties.
Yeah,
It's
you
okay.
can get them
It's
in every
okay.
show. In every
It's
show.
okay. But yes, Lynn had them girls out. I was like, oh my God, man, I felt like I was walking in on somebody. But as Ashley was stating, it was fun to roll around with Josephine. She was, the hot commodity around Paris, the richest black woman, walking at this point. I'm desired. I'm getting asked on, a gazillion dates and being sent roses and flowers and adorned, but nobody would ever take me serious to actually court and marry me, which was the ultimate goal back then. I don't care what kind of performance. If you was the grandest, I want marriage and babies. And Josephine was no different. But we met this count, this curator, who is just all about Josephine. Meanwhile, of course, he isn't an actual count, and he's in this because he sees something in her, but he also sees an opportunity for himself in what he could do and go, yeah, I made that happen for her. I'm somebody too. So in Josephine becoming someone, he gets to be someone also. Ashley, what did you think about this count?
You know what? Like I had mixed emotions, right? Because when we
Mhm.
meet him, because he's been because they were very strategic how they shot him because you see him lurking several scenes before he actually makes his introduction. It was like he
Mhm.
was biding his time and waiting for his moment to pounce because he knew, oh boy, she was fooling with wasn't really about that life, and he was a philanderer. And so it was like when he saw her stress eating, he said, okay, all right, this is my time to shine. So, yes, on the one hand, he was an opportunist. But honestly, I think if we're looking at all the men in her life, he wasn't bad. Like, the count was not bad. He had a vision, and he curated a career for her that, I mean, set her up. He didn't steal from her like she thought he may have. He did all those things, but it was this idea of, I've made you and you're my project. And not only that, but I am coming up off of your back because, like he said, he owned one shirt when he met Josephine. And so there is that. I hated how she did my guy at the end. I don't think he deserved that. I don't think he deserved that. I think for everything, like she said, you don't love me, you worship me. And you think you made me. And that was very true. I think it's a fine line. Like, do you hold on to him? Like he said, baby, you want to have an affair? He said, go on, sleep with the man. I'll just be right here. Just say you won't leave me. And I was like, well, damn, Josephine, you getting your cake and you can eat it too. But no, he was definitely an opportunist. And I think both things could be true. I think he loved her, but he was in it for himself as well.
Well, just like with everything else, we really sugarcoated this count. This count was rather heavy handed with Josephine, for lack of a better word, to get her proned as a performer in condition and get the looks. And we have a little bit of that with her practicing the ballet. But yeah, the hand was very strong with her and very forceful because he wanted to pull the best out of her and really curate this look and not just the image, the dancing and the performance value up in that infamous banana situation. He really poured a whole lot into her. But I think what the film misses out on is that Josephine had this man wrapped around her finger. Even though we did have that brief when that man, I don't know who this actor was in the film, but he was great. He was like, just don't leave me, don't send me back. I was like, girl, don't send him, Josephine. He begging on his damn knees and you letting him get away. Like,
That's a good man, Savannah.
you,
That's a good
you
man.
could just hear in his voice, like this man genuinely wanted her to win, but just off of that one mistake, you can see the constant throughout Josephine's life in this film and in real time. It was this need for acceptance and validation from others. So the moment that she went back to America and it was everything but what it was in Paris, there was no praise. They didn't love her, and it's like they just hate you because they can't be you. Like this, let's just go. She's like, no, I don't want to hear that. I have something to prove now to myself because I wasn't, a massive hit here, and it's all your fault because you convinced me to come here. I was like, girl, go home, Josephine. Josephine, go home. Like that's another thing. We have like a lot of montages. Yeah, he sent me when they sent that her Jaguar or her cheetah off, and he put that collar around her neck. I was like, okay. Yeah, Josephine, get out of there. Keep one eye on the count, absolutely. But I had to cover it, child, because a lot of stuff had girl.
The
Just Lynn
titties.
was, Lynn was just doing what she needed to do. What you say, Ashley?
I said titties.
Girl, it
Titties,
was a
titties,
lot, but
titties.
the dancing and the production on the stage, and even if you go back, what I also really appreciated about it was it wasn't cheapened, even though this was a made for TV film. The set design, her wardrobe for everybody, pretty much, it was
Mhm.
really up to par with Josephine in her on stage performance. So I was like, that's a nice detail. You know, they just be throwing everything at the wall nowadays. And I was like, this is nice. This looks identical. But
Good.
yes, I had to put Lynn in there. Let me leave me hold on, let me go one more time because Lynn was just swaying in the best way possible, and I just thought she looked gorgeous. But yeah, he got her outside. I just love how opulent she was. She was just so rich. I don't think the film delved enough into that. Also, she
Mhm.
was very like, if you couldn't tell, she's very frivolous with her money. We get more of that towards the end, but Josephine was having her way and spending money on whatever the hell she wanted to at any given moment. Like all the diamonds, pearls, and furs, and cars, and
Mhm.
rose, everything. Like Josephine had a zoo. Josephine had a zoo, and Josephine had a damn cheetah. Crazy. But we can get that. It's just like, oh well, next I'm gonna get a castle. I want the chateau. Like,
Mhm.
and we going back to America for what now?
And the clock
But
got it. He said, "Haven't I gotten you everything you wanted, Josephine?" That's why I was like, "Damn, Josie, like you had to leave her."
yeah, well, he was like, I have to be there with her. I have to protect her. I gotta be there. I ain't even gonna let her know about my personal illness. I need to be there. I was like, oh man. But as we see, even prior to her going back, she has a reality check when she gets there. Not only is she not beloved on stage, but America is still very much America. I'm not walking through the front door. We know we giving Josephine the good old Dorothy Dandridge treatment. Seeing and not her perform on stage or always be constant in your room. We don't need you walking the floor. There's still prominent racism, but there's also this recurrent theme throughout the entire movie and throughout her life, which which leads to a whole different questions about Josephine's character because it's not portrayed how it is in the film. She's a little nice nasty, but or a little uh out of touch because she had been in France for so long and had been rich for so long. It was just like, huh, like just pull yourself up. Like look to
Mhm.
be. Look, you too can have this. Like rise up above this oppression. It's just like, and then you get in your Rolls Royce and leave, ma'am. Like, excuse me, don't come
Mhm.
around here staring up our niggas, okay? Don't do
Mhm.
that. But there's that, but even with that being said, and there's kind of either one or the other one, the other opinion that goes, we don't want you here. You're stirring up trouble. Here you come making things difficult for us Black Americans and trying to, I guess, fight for change. And on the other hand, you're selfish if you don't do anything and you stay over there in France and live your best life. Ashley, did Josephine owe America anything? And what would you have done if you were Josephine?
Oh, child, America, she ain't owe America a damn thing. But like, we have to, if we look at it like holistically, right? Just for the time, you would get a lot of celebrities, athletes, that would make these strong stands in certain places, and
Mhm.
the everyday people, like the layman's people, would be the one that would have to endure the battering, the upset, the fallout from that, right? So like Harry
Yeah.
Belafonte, Muhammad Ali,
Mhm.
and so there was this descent in the ranks as far as Black folks. Like, listen, y'all, this is all well and good. Y'all gonna go back home to your mansions. Y'all gonna go back to California, Europe. You're gonna leave here, and we're gonna have to contend with these upset whites. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? And so, and you have to understand that because that was just the climate of the time. Did she owe America anything? No. But I respect her for what she did in trying to make inroads where she can. Part of me, though, and you can respond to this and let me know what you think. Part of me got the impression that a lot of it wasn't about everybody else, it was about ego. So this is me. Like, this is me, and you're gonna treat me like this. There wasn't a to me a lot of thought about everybody else. It was about I shouldn't have to go through the kitchen. I'm
Yeah.
Josephine. I'm Josephine
Yeah.
Baker. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's what we kind of run the fine line. I appreciate any inroads any person made back in those days to get us where we are today. But it did have me like, well, dang, that's kind of complex when you think about it. A lot of people, it was about hubris more than it was about the everyday person, just like today.
It was for me with Josephine getting more into her history and even what we saw in this film. We got a little piece of it when he's going like they're not accepting you and all your glory and the performance and the grandstanding on stage and how beautiful you are. You're singing, you're dancing because you're black. Oh no, 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 that couldn't be it. That couldn't be it. I'm talented, I'm beautiful, I'm Josephine. Like it's something you did. You didn't get the mic and everything. Like she wanted this validation, and it just felt like I'm staying here because I have something to prove to myself and to everybody else. You're going to accept me because I'm Josephine Baker, and I
Mhm.
haven't I earned it. Haven't I worked hard enough? Girl, it wasn't about no people. So I was like, we gonna keep trying to make it about people. Maybe at a certain point, especially later on in life, it was
Mhm.
about the people. But right off the bat, baby, it was not about the people. Josephine was constantly trying to have her way. And as her mother said, the one good thing she said in the film, nobody's ever been able to tell her anything. Nobody's ever even told her no. Like she doesn't listen. She does what she wants to when she does, and we see it. So when she gets back here, and it's just like, no, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't have that. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna prove it, just like I proved it there, and not understanding that it could never be that because of the time period that you're in. But I want to say thank you to the 52 people that we currently have here. I'm going to give you
Mhm.
52 people a minute to hit that like button, and we are going to come right back. Thank you guys so much.
Today, baby, every time I close my eyes, ooh, get a glimpse of this candy paint. Don't slip off when it drip off on top of your really see it here, lift it up and toss it back. I know everything you want. I'ma show you how I stroke it. Bring you what you on top of me. I'ma let you beat it, boss on me. I know everything you want. Give me that daddy long stroke. I can't wait till I get home so you can.
Yes, Beyonce. Yes, Beyonce. I just love Josephine paired with Beyonce, especially when we getting into something like partition. But it's just very that she's just girl. Josephine would have been outside today in the worst
Mhm.
way possible
Lord.
to just be that bold back then. One time for the Burt, go, Lynn, hip, thrust, bam, titty, boom, yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, I just have to do that. But leaving her owing anything, I didn't feel bad about her wanting to stay. Like she wants to stay there, and of course, the count just couldn't understand why aren't you going home all the way down to your family. And I think we should have leaned into that a little bit more. It said a whole lot about her upbringing and the disconnect she had, or what she felt like she owed and who she was really doing this for, and her maybe
Mhm.
wanting to be selfish. You got to remember, especially she was really young. She was really really young, doing all of this. But when her sister passes away, the one she promised, I'm gonna send for you, I'm gonna send for all of you, I'm coming right, I'm gonna make some of myself, and I'm coming back to get my family. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. And we were just, actively maybe spending some money. And when the sister passed, she can't even bring herself to go there because it's a fear. It's a fear of going back to those same conditions, of maybe losing what I have, of being oppressed. Why would I want to go back? And I was like, why
Mhm.
should you?
No, I
And I
like
know
I
that's
said.
that's us maybe speaking of this time and maybe being a little selfish minded, but I was like, this just was not the time to just be trying to be a hero. I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
I'd have sat right there in my castle with my animals, with my glass menagerie. Mhm.
I just couldn't. I was like, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if when you try, you're going to be reprimanded for it, and ever you're going to be criticized. So you
Mhm.
did this, but you didn't do this. That was cool, but this isn't enough. Oh, here you come. You're flaunting all of your wealthiness and who you are. Oh, you think you better than everybody. Like, baby, I ain't got to be here. Oh, girl, look at this place. Girl, the chateau is waiting. The castle is waiting. Look at her home.
Mhm. Imma be
What a
there.
haunted home, as Ashley would say. Look at the home. Okay? That's all I want to say. I just want y'all to see this home. Now, of course, it's well, preserved now and it's a landmark, but just look at how grand that is.
Mhm.
And it was decked out. Be in a movie and play a maid. For what? I have my own maids. What are you
She,
talking about?
I have maids for all 12 of these kids. They each have their own nanny. And not only that, but she owned all the land. That one man, the first husband, was like, ma'am, you cannot create your own world. Like, we already have the town. Like, you own all of the land between here and
Everything.
there. Like, what are you trying to do? She got farms, she got a zoo, she got a grocery store,
Everything.
everything.
Everything. Everything. And I'm leaving here to do what? To prove something to somebody else or prove my worth as an entertainer or as just pretty much prove my blackness and how down I am? I'm staying in my chateau. I'm sorry. But shout out to Josephine for trying to do something.
Trying to do something.
Trying to do something and trying to move as unselfishly as she could in this day and era. But I didn't think it was anything wrong with Josephine. For what? Live my best life. Like, I wish they would have touched on them escapades. I don't even think we got enough sex here. All the smecks that Josephine was having back in the day with whoever she wanted to. They could have at least given us Frida. Could we see Frida Kahlo? Could we see Frida? We
No,
could
they
see her.
weren't bringing her out. Oh
We weren't
no.
doing this. It's 91. But we gonna bring us Lou Gossett for nothing. This thing here. Now we have the Yahtzee invasion, because love forbid we maybe say the word, child. And we have this illness. I did not like the way that this was constructed. I felt like it went oh so fast. Of course, she's getting all this backlash in America to where it's like, you know what? I don't even want to press on anymore. The count has passed away. Let me just go back home. But by the time we get there, it's too late. The Yahtzee regime is happening, and we're forced
Mhm.
out of our home and into Africa. We have her instantly impaled with an illness and giving a automatic
Mhm.
hysterectomy.
Yeah.
And what's been her secondary ambition outside of being a performer was to always be a mother. She's been waiting and biding her time, even with that old last count. I was like, Josephine, just give them some more time. And, we're going to get the babies after some time. And for her to get this hysterectomy due to illness, it's just like, well, I could never have that. And she's, of course, like really, really devastated. But what we don't see before this is that she tried for quite some time to get pregnant and did several times and miscarried every single time. So I
Mhm.
think those little nuances matter, especially when we get towards the end of her story and why beyond herself, because you see, I think in that first shot, her state as a child. It's just like, I promised myself that no child I come across was ever gonna go hungry, be scared, be this. I'm gonna give back to children if I do nothing else because I know what it's like. And then even when we get into her activism, we have her, sing and do a little kumbaya with a couple of soldiers and bring in some integrate, and then that's it. I was like, we really not gonna talk about Josephine being a spy? We're not gonna do that? I think those things were really, really important. Ashley, what did you think about this portion of the film?
I think so too. A lot happened during this time. Again, I was like, what is this mystery illness? First of all, like, can we get a little bit of whatever with, I mean, a radical hysterectomy? Oh, the infection was deeper than we thought. It wasn't what we thought. And then it's just like, okay. Cause I mean, we see her in the hospital laid up and we have no clue why she's even there. And then, like I said, Louis Gossett Jr. was wasted in this role to me. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, so basically
Switch
he's
up
just here
on
to
it?
enlist her. Like, he's here to enlist her. Like, are they going to be Like, are they going to carry this out more? And I mean, just to have an actor of his caliber there, I would have wanted to see more with that relationship or friendship, whatever it was. You're right though; they rushed through all of that. It was very awkward. Like, she's doing her like SSO thing, singing, bringing the shoes, and I was like, oh, she's starting hell here too. And then we see her husband as the band leader, and later they're just married. We don't have any idea of what the courtship was like, why they got together. He says, this woman served with me. She was, shoulder to shoulder with me in North Africa, doing the work of a spy, all this. And that was the only mention of it we got. We didn't see her carrying messages and doing everything. We see her a conversation about it, but we
Yeah.
don't actually get to see her moving in that greatness. And I think that's a movie in and of itself. Y'all hear
Hell
me?
yeah.
Josephine the Spy, let's do that.
Josephine the Spy. I thought this was really incredible. I always kind of knew about it, but I didn't know how deep it went. That we were hiding messages in our undies, in the panties, as Eartha would say, and all this invisible ink transferring messages and secret things to the other side because she wanted to help and she was passionate about it. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And it's like, who's going to check me? But who's going to check me? Who's going to frisk me for anything? I'm Josephine Baker. Once again, I'm Josephine Baker.
Period.
But even if it wasn't that, even when we get into her involvement in the civil rights era and working with Dr. Martin Luther King, even getting into his I Have a Dream session, she was one of the few who got up there on the mic to speak, and he really, really wanted her there. I was like, wow, we could have just, put a little sauce on it, just a little. We ain't gonna talk about these things, but these are just, some incredible things that make her. And I feel like it was a missed opportunity not to at least shine a light on them more, even if we didn't want to give it a whole particular scene and give us, a fake. Hell, Lou Gossett could have been Dr. King. What are we wasting Lou Gossett for? I thought he was going to push up on her for a second. I was like, what are we here for? He's just a fan. He's just a fan. And if anybody's going to bring these troops together and end segregation, it's going to be Josephine. Can you come sing for me? I was like, that's it? Y'all brought Lou Gossett, this legend here for this? But I thought this was great, child. The invisible ink of it all. Just how bold she had to be. I ain't transferring nothing through my underwear across country to no secrets. Baby, she played a role. You could see that this is why she is very much so beloved by France and then some, because she really stood up for her country. Over there speaking all that French. But in us standing up and us trying to fight and go back for even more, Josephine says, you know what? I'm going to stand on business here. Not only over there in France where I'm, giving espionage, but I'm going to go back home and try to give in too. But as I'm going home and trying to perform to, non-segregated crowds and get my folks in here, where are my people? My people aren't in here supporting me. They are not coming to my shows. Ashley, where are her people?
Girl, they can't. It's a sundown town. They can't be in the neighborhood after 9 p.m. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just the level of unawareness that you have. Like, oh, I'm just mad because they're slighting me. My people aren't coming. No, Heffa, they will get beat up or worse. Like Louis Gossett Jr. told her, like, do you know 54 men have been lynched since coming back from World War II? What?
What?
After the war?
I thought things were better. I thought things were better. Are things not better?
This was
Are
not
they
the
not?
time, ma'am. Find something else to do. Like, and so now, we come into this place of let me put demands on these venues. Let me put demands on these people. No, you need a
Yeah.
stage crew. At least 25% of them need to be black. I need integrated seating in the theater. I need all of file an injunction, do whatever you gotta do. This is what I want. But again, this was about her. This was about her. Why are my people not seeing me? Girl, because they
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. And I don't think that's my thing. I don't think I was like, were they trying to make her come across that way? Because it seems like with the writing, they were trying to make it seem like, where are my people? Not like, where are my people? And with her, I want the crowds, I want the blacks, I want it was just, and even that moment with the soldiers where she was singing for them, like, yes, I'm gonna bring myself, me and my ill. I'm gonna get up and do it for the people. But at this moment, it was very much like, well, why aren't they here? I said they could come in here. Didn't I tell you guys to segregate the crowds? Like, where are my people? Like, well, baby Josephine, that's if they can afford to get in here. First, let's start
That
there.
part.
So I know the tickets were cute. That's if they can do that. And also, like, yeah, it's still not that time. Josephine literally thought that with perseverance and for whatever war after the other one, we're free now. But it's no skin off her back because she's been free for quite some time. And once again, getting more into her being out of touch. But I didn't think that the film wrote it and warranted us to know that Josephine was out of touch as she was. Did you get a sense of that or did I miss it?
I mean, no, it was observation on my part, but I think, yeah, just as a regular casual viewer, I don't think they would have picked that up at all. But for me, it was like, girl, what are you now? You was born in East St. Louis. Like, girl, come on. Like, you know what time it is. But yeah, and it was like it's packed every single night. But none of my people are here.
People are
Girl,
here.
find something to do. But no, I don't think that was their intention. I think of course HBO gonna do something for dramatic effect. They're
Yeah.
going to do those things, but this wasn't their motivation. I don't think they were trying to imply that. That's just what I took from it.
And I mean, as much as we you would love and she's iconic here, most of Josephine's activism was geared towards the French resistance. She was over there
Mhm.
with them, fighting for her folks where she lived,
That's
rightfully where
right.
she was a citizen. As she said, even when, he rolled up to get her, she's like, yeah, I relinquished my little citizenship over there long ago. Like, I'm here. This is my home. I was like, well, why are we trying to just bring it on home? But this is definitely a situation to where I was like, y'all don't want us to do that. Y'all clearly want us to look at Josephine in a light, which I don't mind. Like, give us those ups and downs and nuances of her. It's not going to, affect the way anyone looks at her or her iconic status. But HBO going HBO, especially in '91.
Mhm.
But at like we said, with her being there and where my people at, and putting they're not here. It's just she overhears black people attesting the situation. This is after Josephine pulls up in this fine dining restaurant, at which we also didn't touch on her best friend. But like, Josephine, your best friend was Grace Kelly. Baby, please. Baby, please. We do not, we don't live the same life. But she's
Mm-mm.
grandstanding in a restaurant because she isn't being served. And she's like, you're going to serve, like, what? And it's just all of that, at which there's an uproar, and she's in the tabloids, and it's this, that, and the third. And people are like, you are making it real hard here for us. While you're grandstanding in this restaurant, we have to try to work here, work around it, and do our jobs. Go home, Josephine.
Go home, Roger.
Go home. Like, this isn't that, and meanwhile Josephine is legitimately trying to make change, and she feels like she's doing good, and I'm finally doing something for my people. Isn't that what you guys said, that I was? Are you more than just Josephine, all the glamour, all the opulence, and the pretty face, and being in France and speaking French and singing your songs? Are you more than that, or are you still black here for your people? Are you still from St. Louis? When I pull up and try to prove that I'm still from St. Louis, it's a problem.
I don't think she
But
had
it's
any desire to relate to the common man. I don't like it. Just it doesn't give that. And we can look at it today just by, like, if you look at like influencers or celebrity, right?
yeah,
She was still very much a celebrity. She was still very much an influencer, and these were about the personal slights that she felt like. Because how dare you?
yeah,
You're the man who's been giving me these great reviews. What are you going to do about it? The ball's in your court, girl. This ain't this man's battle to take on because they didn't bring you your $50 a plate,
yeah.
meal, like
I
I
was
just
gonna
said.
say, I think she had
Outside of
good
that,
intentions, but the common man was not worried about getting
mm,
served, their steak tartare and the finest of white dining establishments. Man, we weren't.
they was just trying to
Yeah, they
live,
weren't out there.
trying to live.
They weren't out there, Josephine. I just don't think that she got that. But I would love a story of her being complete downright out of touch. That would, and then I think that would be so relatable, except especially now where it would be like, most celebrity culture, like, are we not, like, baby, we don't live the same life, and I need you to understand that. That would be so relatable in this time. I really wish we could have got some of that here. But we got this man though. We got this husband.
Mhm. A good
We
man.
got this husband, and
Good
he was
man.
a good man, Savannah. A good man.
It
He was
was.
a good man, Savannah. But would we have known that with the way that Josephine was out here treating this man? Because baby, I signed up for a kid or three, to be a husband, to be devoted, to be faithful, to be your rock, to lead the band and support you. Baby, where are we going? I'm gonna fight this good fight with you. When you want to go home, we going home. But Josephine, we get into this rainbow tribe, and Josephine becoming completely delusional. Completely delusional in like this la la land of, okay, I'm in America, I'm not getting the reception that I want here. This is a situation where you did get a no, you couldn't make a change, you weren't getting served, and that's just what it was, regardless of who you were. And now you're back home, and you're kind of pouring this same energy for what you lost here in America into, well, you know what, if I'm gonna prove something, I'm
Mhm.
gonna prove that, kids and people of all creeds and colors can all get along under the same roof. I'm gonna adopt children of different ethnicities, religions, background, and we're gonna all be here. But 12 and 13 children, Josephine. 12 and 13 children, Josephine. What did you think when Josephine started adopting these children and Joe was looking like another one?
Crazy as hell. Because here's the thing. A lot of black entertainers of the time were not afforded the same autonomy that Josephine had. we never heard of story of any of these white men that she was with stealing her money, misappropriating her funds. She did that all herself.
Mm,
When this man
yeah.
came into her and said, Josephine, okay, damn it, listen, you said 1, 2. I said, okay, we can do 4, 5. Baby, don't you bring another baby in this household or it's over. I'm leaving. She said, pack your raggedy duffel bag and go because I'm going to do what I want to do. She said,
Oh,
I'm
that's
going
what
to
she
pick.
said. She said, "You can't leave me. Where are you
Oh,
gonna
she said,
go?
I'm Josephine. That's what she said. I'm
I'm
Josephine.
Josephine. Where are
You're
you
not going to leave
going?
me. And when I found out this
You're
man
not
sold
strong enough."
this man sold his family estate. He poured all of the money that he had into building this thing and taking care of all these kids. He said, "Listen, we will be put out. We will be kicked out." And she said, "I don't give a damn, and you're not gonna leave me." He said, "I'm packing my raggedy duffel bag," and went on about his business. But what was great was that he still kept providing support for all of
Yeah.
these people, these kids that she took in. But no, Josephine was selfish. She was the height of selfishness
No.
because not only did you take on these 12 babies, but you knew you were going to have to travel to provide. You knew you were going to be leaving them with nannies and with him, and she just had no regard for that. Like he's out here building tree houses. She want to sow strawberries in wintertime when they don't grow. And he's just accommodating her every damn whim. Mama's there like, she won't even listen to me, brother. Like, I don't know what to tell you. She was not a good wife. She was singularly focused and motivated. Do I think she loved those kids? Sure. But do I think that she was capable of managing 12? That's hard for anybody to do with a partner. Solo dolo, no, no. And she wasn't, but I'll give it this. The end that she came to was all her doing. Nobody did it to her.
Oh
And she,
yeah, I was waiting, like, because that's typically the story here. If it's not a man in your life, especially if you're a woman of this time, taking your money, cheating on you, all of that, it's a manager taking advantage of you, taking your money, or she had so many people in her corner that were really vouching and vying for her celebrity, her career, the Broadway, the movies. This giver, giver, giver. And not to say that she clearly didn't make sacrifices and had to deal with things herself. Of course, that's always going to be present. But the stories that you hear, how every single celebrity, whether it's a Dorothy Dandridge or a Bojangles, we work so hard and we end up with absolutely nothing, and you're penniless because you were cheated of something. The way that I knew she was lost when she tried to grow them damn strawberries, I'll say, okay, Josephine, maybe it doesn't work on your time like that. And those are the things that I really wanted them to dig into as far as her delusion and how out of it she was. Were they going to grow? The strawberries are going to grow in winter because I'm Josephine.
they said these would be dead in 2 months. Like, what are you doing?
Can you please? And it's just like, what? If you're not going to leave me, you're not strong enough. I was like, oh, Josephine,
Cold blooded.
why you say that to that man? But I was like, what? Why would you? Why would you do this? And once again, good intentions, but perception is everything. This wasn't a smart decision, Josephine, especially with this point in her career. Of course, things weren't, as roaring as they were earlier, and she really had to vie and work. And she was, getting older, and we're steady, adopting more children, investing more into this chateau and all of the amenities that it has. And I will say, if you go and look into Josephine's history, it's presented that she adopted these children for nefarious intent, and
Mm,
that Josephine, like we said, always was seeking validation and needed and had something to prove. So it wasn't so much no child's going to go hungry or have the maybe the same childhood I had and I care so much. It was like, I'm going to prove to you, like we said, that all creeds and colors can get along under one roof. But these kids were put on display. She would have people come to the chateau and they would pay to get in there and watch, like, see, like, look at them. Look at them playing. Look at them like this. And it was just like they were, paid and bought for in certain news articles and things that Josephine said. It's just like, yeah, this was also kind of a business decision along with
mhm.
everything else, and more so for a look and an image and kind of like a callback. Remember that like mid late 2000s when every single white celebrity was adopting a child from
Baby,
elsewhere.
yeah, yeah,
And
Lord.
this was like the beginning of that, for tabloids. This is like the milestone for that, as well as like old Hollywood, and when they would like set up couples and you're gonna be for an image. This was that for her, and she like started the I'm gonna adopt a child from elsewhere because I care so much. You remember that scene in Mommy Dearest when she when she adopts, like this is like a publicity situation.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, Josephine. Josephine, even though you know the heart was there and the kids and I want children, that passion was there, but this was also an opportunity for her to look a certain way. But I'm like, it doesn't hurt to put those things in there and to show just how flawed she was. It's not going to take away from anything, especially giving the decades. Like, give us the stuff, but don't make it seem
I
like
know.
I just want to save every child in the world. I was like,
They be scared. They be scared of the bad. Well, at least at that time. I know in the 90s, that's the perception that I get, that they were scared
mhm.
to, I don't want to say demoralize, but to like taint the image or name of like these iconic Black figures in history. But people need the truth. Like, tell the truth, and it's fine. And like you said, she'll still be iconic tomorrow with all the truth being told. She'll still be iconic. Like, that will not take away from that at all, but at least we'll be telling an honest story. Because she said, oh, it was like for me when they were talking about, oh, I needed that one. Oh, I needed that one. Oh, we need the Jewish one. Oh, we need the
Yeah.
little one from Venezuela. Oh, we need the one from the Ivory Coast. No, we need it. It's going to complete my collection. That's what it gave for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, but I just didn't think it was plausible because I didn't know how this was going to end. I thought all these children was going to end up back in the state. I was like, are they going to go? What's the sense of this, Josephine? If they all going to get relinquished back to the same
Mhm.
system you was trying to keep them away from. Let's be smart about this. But since Joe packed his raggedy, not I'm going to say he packed his lovely suitcase and got the hell out of there, rightfully so, and still supported her in any way that he could in those children and tried to help.
A
Like,
good man.
bring that good man off. I couldn't believe after all your
Fucking
years.
man. He said, I gave up my band for you. I gave up all my money that I had. I poured at girl. And she said, you'll never leave me.
You're not strong enough. Where are you going? Where are you going? Sit down. I was like, wow. And he left, and she was like, oh, he really left. Well,
Well,
when we get to the scenes of her trying to barricade herself in the home, and I could vividly remember me watching this probably younger than I was supposed to, but I thought at some point in the film, because we of course begin with her in her older age and she's writing this letter as a reflection to her children because they're being taken out of the home. You could not tell me watching this back in the day that Josephine didn't descend into some type of mental
yeah,
illness.
yeah,
I
madness.
thought no, I swear I thought Josephine like became schizophrenic or something. I'm like, why am I remembering that? I was like, oh no, I did. I legit I was waiting for it. I was like, she got manic and schizophrenic at some point from what I remember. I was like, no. Josephine was just making poor decisions and barricading herself in this home like these people didn't say. Once again, we're gonna start using that. But I'm Josephine. You can't come in here and seize my property and my things in my home. Haven't I worked hard? I worked hard for these things. This is like this is Lalique. I worked hard for these things. Meanwhile, these people are calling up. We're gonna remove these children from the home. Josephine, you're behind on bills. You aren't paying for this, that, and the third. Maybe some property taxes and the whole nine. You ain't pay for anything. But we're just gonna allow you to keep the chateau and live here and frolic because you're Josephine and you work for it at some point. But now you don't have it and you can't afford it because you've been stretching your money far and wide to maintain something that was just unattainable. But how did you feel when she said, you know what, Joe left? I'm gonna get out here on the road and support these kids and do what I can. And she loses everything from the kids to the home. And these men physically pick Josephine up in the film and throw her out of the home.
Listen, Joseph, well, they may not have said it, but that there's nothing but a descent into madness. I think there was a combination of that, like delusions of grandeur, and I think that was a descent into madness. And also, side note, when y'all make somebody look old, y'all ain't have to make them look crusty and
Girl, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
gotta say it. Cause don't zoom in like that, and the lady got the face peeling off like, like it was a zombie.
I was like,
Listen,
was that a choice? Who made
girl,
that
what?
choice?
I said you
Why
could be.
she look dusty in the face?
I That's what I said. Why is she ashy? Bye, ashy. I
Well,
hated that.
I let it go because I was like, this is 91. This is a lower budget film. The old age makeup wasn't old age, and I just left it alone.
Yeah, they could have did better than that. But anyways, back to the point of it all. Yes, this was a descent into madness. And she had been spiraling, I feel like, for years. Because when the man tell me that, girl, if we get any more kids, we right now we cool. We can be able
Yeah.
to pay for this in perpetuity. If you do any more extra stuff, we will be put out. I would have taken that like we will be put out. But no, Josephine said, listen, I'm Josephine Baker. The country will not put
Mhm.
me out on the street. They will never. That neighbor, when they were doing that interview, I don't hate Josephine, but she ain't paid her bills in 7 months. Girl, how long was you gonna live free over here in these
A
people's
long
houses?
time.
And then they snatched you out, honey. At least I don't even know if they let you put on your good wig before they put you out on the
She had
curb.
on a bonnet.
You did all this just to lose it. And I think there's something that's, I mean, it was meaningful when she said it because it was very true. She said, you know what? I haven't made the best decisions when she's writing this letter to her kids. I haven't made the best decisions, but they were my decisions and I made them. So I'm going to live with them. And so, baby, that just meant that she was going to be working until she died and not making any coin because the people ain't want to see her no more.
Yeah,
Probably because
they
they're crusty and falling off in this. Like, I, I hated that.
yeah, the and I know with older age when we come into the real live Josephine, she as she aged, her face did fill out more here, and it got heavy in those areas. So I could see the direction they were trying to go with the makeup, but I was like, y'all tried it.
Mm-mm.
Don't
I got to do better because
don't
I'm
do her
looking
like
at her
that.
picture and she looked good. Like you know what I mean. She still looked moisturized. They didn't have to have her looking ashy like
Yeah,
that in this
look how
movie.
fit she looks and all thin and everything. I was like, look at
Oh,
you.
baby, Bonnie was on body, honey. She doing them pelvic thrusts in her
Yeah.
later years.
It was, but with her going out on her own terms, did you feel like it was the honorable route? I did it my way, or were you more so Josephine? It didn't have to be like this. You died penniless, girl. What, Josephine? You died because she did state in the film, "Oh, I'm gonna die on stage dancing." And child, this is about as close as it is. How did you feel about her going off on her own terms? Was this the right way to go? Because she died quintessentially with nothing.
I hated that. I mean, but I get that it was people's reality, but it just makes me so sad because she didn't have the other factors that the other people did that went broke. People were stealing from them, not paying them for their time, working them all hours of the night and not paying them for their time. And it's like she had every opportunity. So more than anything, I think I was just disappointed with her choices. But I do think that there was some mental health issues that were probably undiagnosed at the time. But at the end of the day, she lived on her own terms. She died on her own terms. She knew what it was. She dealt with the consequences of it. And I mean, that's really all you can ask of anyone. I just really think it was unfair to all them children. Because, like she said, I sent them with friends and neighbors. Like, I sent him with friends and neighbors. And the husband said, he kept in contact. But you writing letters, sis. Like, I didn't, that was kind of heartbreaking to me for them. But as far as she made her decisions and she lived with her decisions and she died with her decisions.
I don't know. I kind of love that she went out with nothing. It's like,
Mhm.
yes, Josephine, burn it all down. I'll say why, because she lived so fast and carefree. I don't see her going out any other way. She has never like been sensible, even though she was really whip smart and clever. As far as like financially, she was already spending it all just as quickly as she got it prior. Like, we're early 20s, a dancer, sleeping, sleeping who would we want to, when we want to, how we want to, no loyalty. You might be my husband, you could be my husband, I might have a next husband. The bigotry of like all of that, and spin it like a zoo, a pet cheetah,
Yeah.
pet rabbits and zoos and chateaus. And
Pigs and
you mean to tell
monkeys.
me this lady was gonna end off life with money?
Well,
Where?
listen, the men had good sense. They had good sense and could budget. I don't know. Like, I no, I really do. I hate to hear about, especially y'all have to think about it. She was the richest black woman of her time, period. Like in the world, and to die penniless, that is sad.
I just feel like she's the definition of you can't take it with you. Spend it all now. I can't take it with me. What am I going to do? Like, it would have been nice if she had left a little cushion and made sensible choices and left something to her children. Josephine, her whole life was like, you can't take it with you, spend it all. It was
That's
very,
true.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll of her time. And
Mhm.
I think I don't see her going out any other way. I feel like it's fitting.
Oh my
I feel like it's fitting. Of course, we would want more for her and for her legacy, but I think this attests to her legacy and how she lived her life from the time that she gained celebrity all the way to the time that she went out. I don't see Josephine going no other way. She was going coochie coochie up there with nothing.
And I will say this, that even though she was bankrupt, I read some articles and they were like, just because she was bankrupt doesn't mean her estate didn't have anything in it. So
Sure.
do think that the estate was probably able to make money off of her likeness, products,
Yeah,
things like
sure.
that posthumously. So I mean, I'm hoping that something was there for the children because she didn't have no property, not that we could see. But yes, I mean,
Yeah, just because I got some shoes, I got some clothes, I got some jewelry. That's all I got. I ain't got nothing else. It was
I
very
got
I ain't got nothing else. The name got my daddy blood on it. I got this
I
name.
just want my name.
I just want the name. She can go, but the name stays home.
Yeah, that's a
I
fact.
just I loved it, but I did love in the end. Of course, we end off with more things, a testament to her legacy, where she was buried on this honored military ground where no, like no, it's for honorable discharge. So like she was buried like in a sacred place in France. I thought that was lovely.
Mhm.
Oh, Joe rolled up with them kids. Joe kept investing in those kids and all of that good stuff, and doing what he could for them. I thought that was nice. You could tell that he did love her regardless of child her antics. And I thought she went out the way that, of course, she wanted to.
Mhm.
More biopics. Josephine Baker Story has been in the works and in the talks for a very long time, and these are the two actresses that I could find that they reach out to when it's like, oh, we're gonna do a Josephine situation. We got Janelle Monae, and I can't never remember Miss Mama's name down here, but she was in the passing, trying to pass, and she wasn't passing.
You
She was
said
over there.
Bruce Nega?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she looks very close to Josephine also. But
Mhm.
Ashley, how would you feel about an additional Josephine pick? What would you want to see? And if anybody at this moment besides Josephine, because like I said, HBO was outside with things like Bojangles, Dorothy Dandridge, and later on
Bessie.
something like Bessie, but it's kind of been on
Mhm.
pause since then. Who do we need to see, and what would you want from a new Josephine story?
Child, I want to see an unknown. I don't want to see Janelle. Ruth. I mean, okay, girl. I would rather see a complete unknown that just kind of comes and takes it by storm. But I would like a couple of different biopics. I don't think we have to squeeze it all in one. Like I said, I would like a spy thriller based on Josephine Baker's life. Like I would be here for that. I would be here for like the love affairs of Josephine Baker in another film. Like I would be here for both of those. But I want an unknown. I want somebody who's hungry, who like what Lynn was back then. Like someone who's hungry, who's ready to get it out of the mud, and that could really put their stamp on it. Like I think that would be exciting to see. But yeah, I would like to explore that. Again, like the spy, the loves of her life, and I would like maybe let's go down let's go down the mental route. Let's see what that was really hitting on. If there's any accounts of that, I'd be curious to see that as well. What about you?
I I I just want I want a little limited series situation. I feel like those are the best when we can, because I'm not gonna be on the boat thinking we finna get we barely with that. This was 91 and we ain't got nothing since. Nothing. And I know it's very limited as far as when we're seen and heard and not in who they think are deserving to even get a biopic, let alone have multiple ones. So I think our best shot, because we probably gonna get that and nothing else, it's
Mhm.
just a limited series that could possibly just cover everything in the way that we want to and really dive into some more of the things that we missed here. I will want that. I'm gonna go the limited series route. They better either that or new edition her give us 2 parts, and get it good. Like get everything in there that we can, and really get into the nitty gritty of who she was and her story, as well as all the beauty and opulence and talent of it all. But I just want to see Frida Kahlo. Okay, I want to see her. I want to see the man. I want to see Picasso, rolling up on her. I want to see those things so we can just really get into the equivalent of exactly who she was, child, because she was a whole lot, and I just love that. Let me get this super chat here from Dane. Lord, what Dane talking about, y'all? Since y'all dress like Josephine, I damn a dance. Is this what I demand a dance?
Sir, don't do this.
First of all, if you put a little bit more on this besides them $2, dang, you might could have got it. I ain't giving you no dance for $2. It is not 1927.
You might have got a fandango.
You might have got a fan dance. You might have got a fan dance. It was more than $2. I am not giving you no dance for $2. It's past 1935. Didn't play with Jane. Oh Lord, but thank you so much, Dane. To my typos. Now I know what it was, and the answer is still no. But all right, y'all. That was Josephine. Ashley, anything you want to say before we get out of here? Any other words to share on Josephine? And if we did get a different biopic, not just Josephine, because I know I've been waiting forever for a Tammy Terrell and a Marvin Gaye, and we just ain't gonna get them for some reason.
There are so many that we need. We need a real Nina Simone biopic. We need, if we're going to go down the Billie Holiday rabbit hole, we need a redo.
Oh,
The last one, the most recent one they did. There are so many iconic legends from our past that I think are due the justice of it all, for better, for worse. Like, I would love a Nikki Giovanni story or Angela Davis and Assata Shakur story. There are so many figures in our history that deserve their stories to be told. Octavia Butler, like, I would be here for any of those stories, for some of our most iconic creatives from the past. A Zora Neale Hurston story. Like, I'd be here for all of those.
Zora Neale Hurston would be good, because the way they treated her, that would be so good.
Listen, or even if they just gave us for once a really good Harlem Renaissance where we could have James Baldwin, like we could have Zora Neale, we could have all of those people in one space. Like, I would love
to say the other ones can go because they were trying to play on her top. Langston and them can go.
Listen, I need to see them all, though. I would be here for a series like that. Do that. But no, I do. I think it's so important because I think we take for granted how much programming and cinema and TV actually frame us and teach us. Like, we were outside in the 90s because we were exposed to a ton of Blackness in biopics that they did. People now, children now, this generation now doesn't have that exposure. We need that. Like, they need that. They don't know who these people are, and it's heartbreaking. So yes, I would be on a campaign to see them do something. We need more Black stuff, Tyra, and we need people to watch it when it comes.
It was, because from what I can remember, Bessie was really, really good, and Queen Latifah did a great job.
It was good.
And I think the last thing we got per se was like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
that was based on August Wilson's.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that was still, a one room, life in a day type of, play situation. So, but yes, y'all, we are about to get up out of here. But before we do y'all are really going in about dating them $2 because who's shaking titty for $2 around here? Saturdays, we get into our members only watch alongs, and this week is my turn, but it's not going to be just members only. Saturday's watch along is going to be open to the public, so all of you can come in and enjoy and get into Ashley's reaction, not mine, for this film because it is my turn. But and shout out, I didn't even say anything, but I got a new member earlier. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for becoming a member, and I appreciate you. Welcome to the collective. We'll be right back, y'all.
In this neighborhood,
is a house where souls never rest. You're invited to share their secrets. I've been waiting for you boys. You're invited to share their tales. Unless, of course, you're scared. Tales of madness. Of revenge.
The dolls don't want you there! They want reparation!
Of horror.
He thinks he needs to kill the monster.
Now, your most terrifying nightmare and your most frightening reality are about to meet. On the streets.
Man, this is a trip, homie. I don't need nothing from no house of dead folks, okay?
Death.
The fun we're gonna have Saturday. I can't wait. I just love how disinterested Ashley looks every time I run that clip. Like, oh god. I just know deep down Ashley is dreading us watching Tales from the
It's gonna be fun.
and I
Yeah.
love her for it so much. So let me get this super chat here from Demarcus. Thank you so much. Demarcus said, Tyra and Ashley, y'all gotta review my favorite movie, I did Rage in Harlem. Rage in Harlem is somewhere down in the videos, but I did review that one. Thank you. With Danny Glover, Forrest Whitaker, and Robin Givens, because pop, 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 go to Weasel. I think it's time to hear that pop. Yeah, I did a discussion for that, a video for that, but maybe, in a live discussion, we can get into Ashley, not liking Robin Givens. Thank you so much, Demarcus.
So beautiful.
Beautiful. And I love, like I said in my review, Rage in Harlem was just a big metaphor for hell. Let's see. Ashley, get ready for them jump scares. Child, look at the jump scares. Oh my God, the jump scares. Where, Ashley? Where are the jump scares? But Ashley, anything you want to share before we get out of here?
Yeah, Tia has a good question, and I don't know. I thought you said maybe. She wants to know, is Tales from the Hood a membership only live? Sorry to ask. Or did you want to open that up?
Tales from the Hood is going to be open.
Yeah.
Tales from the Hood is going to be open to everyone. Now, after that, probably what we have coming up, it'll be members only. But this one in particular, and we'll be sure to start having a few more non-members this open lives. But if you want to watch it with us, which helps also, we really like that our fam gets in the Discord and you guys are watching it with us, then trying to go and scroll and y'all rolling up and trying to find it and get the channel and where's the DVD and where's the streaming, when you could just be in the Discord. You would just join the Discord and watch it with us there. I think that's the best option in really getting into our reactions. It will be open, but we would rather you and hope that you decide to join the Discord for free to watch that. But if it's some members only stuff, then you got to pay the $5 like Martin. And like Martin said, I ain't paying the $5. Everybody don't be want to pay the $5. But before we get out of here, I'm going to drop the Discord link here in the chat for anybody who's currently here who has yet to become a member of the Discord, so that by the time Saturday comes, you all prepped and ready for Tales from the Hood, because I can't wait. Because actually, you said you saw it once, right?
Once. That's it. I don't
remember if you liked it or not?
I remember the little creatures. That's what I'll say, that because I don't think I can
The
say
dog.
No. The little minis. That's what I remember. Yeah.
Right, I'm pinning it at the top. So anybody who wants to get on over there into the Discord to prep for Tales from the Hood, please go ahead and do that. It will be open. Ashley, anything you want to share before we get out of here?
Yeah, tomorrow night, you guys, do not forget, we will be back watching episodes 3 and 4 of Flavor of Love season 1. It's a good time. I don't give a damn. It is fun. It is hilarious. Watching these back all these years later is a moment. It's a time to be had. And then on Saturday, we will be covering 2 episodes of Severance. So yeah, be there for that.
Yes, please. Thank you. And we will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a good night and hit the like button. Drop below and let us know what y'all loved about Miss Josephine Baker, or just what y'all loved about our looks tonight, because we had a good time and hopefully y'all had one too. Everybody have a good day. Bye, y'all.
Bye.